Coach, a split for the Bulldogs here at home this weekend against the Minnesota Mavericks. Can you just talk about the play of the Bulldogs this evening?
Sure. For 4 periods, the 3 last night and the first period tonight, boy, I felt we were right on top of our game. I really did. And as good as we've played all year, and we've been playing better and better each and every day. So it was good to see. And then we had a really big 5-on-3 kill midway through the second. And or actually that was in the first, and then they scored on a 4-on-4 goal where they had played down in our end, and both players for both teams come out of the penalty box at the same time. But since it was down in our end in the second period, their guy was able to jump off the bench, and he had a zone and a half, and our guy jumping off of our bench. Nothing you can do about that. And so for the briefest of seconds, there's a man advantage for them down in our end of the rink. And they capitalized and found them. And I thought from there on, I thought we lost our composure a bit. I didn't think we really played up to our capabilities until we fell behind 3-2. And then I know there's been a lot of questions about the penalties, and we talked pretty extensive before the game about we wanted to limit our penalties. And if I had to say there's one thing I was really disappointed in our own team was the penalties that we took. The 5-minute major that Drew Mayer took was inexcusable. And there's no other way to say it. That was inexcusable. That took away 3 minutes because each got, the other player got 2 minutes. But all of a sudden there's attack time that we don't have. We end up spending that time in our own end trying to kill. And then we're using, Gerald Mayhew and Mackin to kill penalties, which they do a great job. But now they're getting tired out, so trying to generate the offense is difficult to do. So let's see if we can learn this lesson. But I really was disappointed in how quickly our game evaporated in the second period. We just got really away from all the good things we had done for 4 periods.
Talk about VanWormer and that line, how he's been doing so far this year.
I'm sorry, John, I didn't catch that.
VanWormer, and that he scored the first goal tonight. Can you talk about him and his line, how they're doing?
Well, I can talk about Jared's he's starting to come on, and I shouldn't say it like that. The effort's always there. He's really a hard worker. Excuse me, he's playing well. Mackin got moved to the middle. Heffley was there, and we moved Mackin to centering that line. He's playing really well. I thought that might have been his best weekend of hockey. And obviously, Gerald Mayhew. No, I did think Jerry got overly emotional, and in some ways, he needed to bring it down a notch. He needed to ratchet. I'm glad what makes him good is he's so competitive, but it also, when he crosses that line between competing and then getting distracted, he's not quite the player he is when he's focused and on his game.
The holiday break, how do you usually approach this? Is this kind of a second season, or a time to rejuvenate get the batteries rejuvenated, so to speak, and you try to have a whole new lease on life and get ready for the second half of the season with a big tournament coming up later in the month?
Well, I think right now the break's coming at a real poor, time. I really don't want to see it just because we are playing so well. I mean, taking away the last period and a half of tonight's game, we dug ourselves a big hole to start the year, and we've really done a great job of clawing ourselves back. And we put ourselves in a position where the second half we're going to have a chance for home ice, where it looked like we were going to have to scratch and claw just to make the playoffs. Now we got a chance for home ice, and so I'd rather we didn't take a break. Now, with that said, the first order of business is final exams next week. That takes precedent over everything. So the guys will go through the exam period, and then we'll skate, but we'll skate late at night when the exams are over, and then give them a chance to get home for a few days, and then back on the 26th of December. And we'll just take it right. Our first thing is we'll revisit this loss on the 26th and talk about it again, and then and focus. I'd really like to win that Christmas tournament. That would mean an awful lot to the team, and it's going to be a great test with Boston College, Quinnipiac, ourselves, and Robert Morris. That's a pretty good tournament.
So, Coach, as you kind of mentioned yesterday and the first period of today's game, we're kind of all in Ferris's favor. Is there like a specific turning point you can point to that you thought kind of turned the tides of the game?
God, that's a good question. I can't really. Maybe the 4-on-4 the goalie scored when the guys coming out of the box. It shouldn't have been a turning point though. It should be one off the duck's back. I can't really put my finger on it other than when the penalties really seem to start coming for both teams. It's almost like the momentum kind of slipped away there, during the special teams. But there's not one particular play out there. I did think had Mackin scored on he had a breakaway in the second period, that would have put us up 3. That would have been nice, But he made a great play to even get on the breakaway, and he had a whale of a weekend. But I thought that could have been a turning point in our favor. But I can't really identify any one thing out there where I felt like, wow, but it did. It left us somehow, some way, somehow. We lost focus, but I can't identify exactly how that occurred or when it occurred.
Mm-hmm. And Darren Smith gets a start in net tonight. He had 35 saves. How do you make that call on whether it's him or Justin?
It's pretty hard because Justin's won so many games, but in reality, Justin had 2 pretty tough ones in a row. We beat Lake State 7-5, but it was a lot of goals that game and then his last game against Huntsville, he struggled. And when I evaluated both goaltenders throughout the week in practice, I felt Darren's game was rounding out more towards what we had seen last year. Very confident, very comfortable. Where I thought when I watched Justin, he was fighting the puck. A lot of pucks were going by him. And so I thought, well, I'll play Darren on Friday and see what happens. When he won Friday, shut him out. To me, it looked like, boy, he's really on his game. And I think he's probably our number 1 star tonight. I thought he had a whale of a game again tonight. So I'm excited for him. He's put in a lot of really hard work. He's won us a championship. He's got that pedigree. The nice thing is Justin's there, and it'll be a nice competition in the second half between those two to see who gets the net.
We're joined with Jared VanWormer. Jared, could you just give us your thoughts about the overall play tonight's game?
Thought we came out pretty good on the first period. Obviously in the second and third, we had a little bit of penalty trouble and seemed to get us off our game. And I don't know, it just seemed like we had a little bit of a letdown. But I don't know, I think our first period was really good.
Is there any secret or any key to a game like this to cut those penalties down? You had 21 tonight, I guess 20 around the same last night, and that was a key factor.
Yeah, no, we wanted to stay out of the box, but I don't know, it just seemed like some of the penalties we were kind of flat-footed, and some were necessary, some we probably didn't need to take, but it's not really a secret. You just got to battle and keep your hands down and usually stay out of the box, but we had a little bit of trouble with that this weekend.
You guys go into the Christmas break, your thoughts about how the team is playing?
I think the last 6 or 7 games we're 5-2. I like the chemistry on our team. It seems like we're gelling a little bit better than we did in the beginning of the year. Playing a lot better defensive zone. But I think we might need this break and kind of regroup, see our family, and hopefully come out swinging in the Pittsburgh tournament.
Talk about your goal tonight, your 5th goal of the season. What happened there?
It just seemed like a scrum in front of the net. Everyone was looking for the puck and just kind of followed my stick and just put it where the goalie wasn't.
What about your play this season so far? Your own particular play?
I don't know. I think I had a slow start. Starting to find the back of the net now, but I just like being physical and help my teammates out whatever way I can.
And over the break, what's going to be some things you'll do, the team will do as you get ready for the second half of the season?
Obviously, I've spent time with our family. A lot of us will be in the gym when we can, on the ice where we can find time, and hopefully stay in shape over the 10 days we're off and come back ready to go.
Gerald, a loss tonight to the Mavericks. It seemed like there was plenty of opportunities for the Bulldogs to score, just couldn't find the back of the net. Was there a frustration on the bench going into the third period?
I'd say a little bit. Like Worm said, we came out in the first period, played pretty well, and then the penalty trouble happened, and people started getting frustrated. And, things are going to go bad, and we just had to stay together. And tonight, Minnesota State wanted it more than we did. I think in the second period, third period, they were hungrier in our zone, and we were kind of flat-footed, reaching for the puck. But we got to figure out how to win 2 games, or else this season could go downhill. So if we mature and we can win 2 games, I think we'll be fine.
38 to 19 in shots. Any particular reason? Was it the penalties, or are they that type of team, or are they
I
focused
think
on that? Or
I think penalties definitely had something to do with it, but like I said, they outworked us in our zone pretty much the whole night. And I think we had a couple good shot blocks. I think Mackin had a couple, to be honest. But like I said, we got to be hungrier and we got to want it more than the other team.
Speaking of the penalties, you being kind of one of the veterans on the team, what's the message going back into the locker room, talking to some of the younger guys about, avoiding that in the future?
I think if we just got to play hard, and we got to avoid the stick penalties, the slashes, the hooks, stuff like that. If there's a big hit, and the ref calls it a penalty, then we can live with that. But we just got to keep our feet moving. That's all we really need to do.